Peace be upon you, friends. With you is your friend Darum. I ask you to support the channel by subscribing, liking, and posting motivating comments and an enjoyable viewing experience for you. I don't blame him. Ignorance is sometimes bliss. In fact, often when it comes to the other world, lonely, depressed, and so on. Some strange questions occur to me when I practice my isolation. Most of the most notable of which are, now, why are you depressed? For an albo, why are you sad? Or why are you alone? There's a big difference between isolation and loneliness. The former is a state of exalting oneself above people, and the latter is a state of loss, even if you are among people. I believe that your relationship with yourself cannot tolerate a third party. So I find in isolation from people what I do not find among them. The practice of isolation is not limited to the body, as telephone communication of all kinds, whether audio or written, breaks the barrier of benign isolation. Some people cannot isolate themselves from other people because then they will have to deal with their self, which if they are not reconciled with it, they will face many problems in adapting. Those who classify themselves as social as an excuse for their constant desire to go out and mingle with people and attend events that are crowded with other selves are often, and I say mostly so as not to generalize, they cannot handle themselves if they stay with her because she is simply unbearable. On many occasions, I am accused of being single-minded and not accepting or embracing other points of view and imposing my convictions on others. The story is just that I refute what I hear. I express my opinions in front of those who hold them, and I present my opposing thoughts without forcing anyone to accept them or even accept them. However, due to the weakness of the argument of others in most cases, and not the strength of my argument, whoever discusses with me sees that I am imposing my opinions on him, not realizing that the one shouting at him to accept them is not me, but rather his mind, which is numbed with false concepts. I have never dared to impose my opinion on anyone, but I present it from time to time without courtesy, and my most fierce opponent is myself. I realize that I am talking about matters that no mind can accept, and the first to doubt what I say is me, but the decisive factor for me is always the experience and the results that follow after it. Not to for far, the knowledge that I obtained from the Amar Liberation, and I do not mean here the sciences of magic and sorcery, but rather the other sciences for which I could not find a classification, are sciences for which I do not have a shred of proof other than some practical experiences that often did not disappoint me. I gave several examples in my previous talk, such as the ants incident that Ahmed suffered from. Did I know that this method would succeed? No. Do I know now that it will work for others? Also, no. But what I do know is that it worked for him, and it may be just a coincidence. I also advised Yusuf to change his daughter's name. The knowledge I gained guided me to that advice. Does this mean that every girl who is named by the name and his will have what happened to his daughter and happen to her? Certainly not. Therefore, for me, the matter is no. This knowledge can potentially be shared with many people. I will mention another example that I remembered now, and this example may clarify my problem with these strange sciences that I have acquired. A person close to me and outside the circle of my friends on the farm. I meet him from time to time in a cafe or at one of us's home. He is a former classmate, and I have great affection and respect for him. But he knows nothing about what I went through in the past, so I love talking to him. In one of our meetings, he told me about problems he began to suffer from with his wife, and these problems were not due to something apparent and known to him, but rather they were due to his suspicion that she was hiding something from him and did not want to reveal it, no matter how many times he asked her. I said to him, "There is a possibility that you are delusional and there is nothing, Mason." Mason, believe me, there is something disturbing her mood and occupying her mind. Perhaps the matter does not concern you, and this is the reason why she does not share the topic with you. Mason, the matter has disturbed my life, so it concerns me. What would you do if you knew the reason, and it turned out that it did not concern you? Would you be relieved? Mason, yes. What matters to me is that I am not the cause of the matter. Didn't she say that she told you that you had nothing to do with the other matter? Mason, no. You told me that there is no issue in the first place, and this is something provocative. Oh, why are you hiding something from me if it does not concern me? Women think differently. Do not make the issue bigger than it is. Mason, let's change the subject. There is no point in talking about it. The topic actually changed, and we got into several other side topics for about half an hour. But my mind did not stop nagging and insisting on me presenting a suggestion stemming from that useless knowledge that my head was full of. After a bitter struggle with myself, I told him, "Listen, I have a suggestion regarding your wife, Mason. What reminded you of the topic?" My friend said it, surprised that the topic was being brought up again. "Nothing, but I think I can help you." Mason, "How?" "I'm not sure of the method, but try it. You won't lose anything." Mason, "What is that method?" He said it with apprehension, but remember that no one knows what the breasts hide except God, and the way in which I'll show you just a small window. Mason, a small window into what? Just remember my words well. Mason, are you going to talk a lot, or are you going to tell me? Well, try sleeping in her bed for several nights. Mason, what? What do you mean? Sleeping in someone's bed helps you delve into his obsessions and what occupies his mind, and those obsessions will come to you in the form of dreams or nightmares. Mason, what are you talking about? What is this strange proposal? Try it and you may find the answer to what is troubling you. Mason, let me clarify what you are asking of me. That I sleep in my wife's bed for several nights, right? Yes. On the side where she used to sleep. Mason. This might raise her suspicions. He acted and made any excuse for this temporary change. Mason, huh? Okay, I will try, but what will I see? Mostly, you will see a vision that will guide you to the answer, and if you encounter a problem with its interpretation, you have my phone number with you, and you can contact me. The method that I provided to my friend is one of the famous methods followed by spiritual healers, as well as some magicians, although this method has nothing to do with magic, near or far, but it is one of the secrets of the profession, which they do not divulge to anyone, and only those who have reached advanced stages of this strange knowledge know it. I learned it directly from a Mishar when he was sleeping in my bed in the library. If I hid something from him and he wanted to know it, he told me its secret later. I received a call from my friend about a week later, and he asked to meet me, and I actually met him in the same place where we met the last times. He explained to me that he tried the method and slept on his wife's side of the bed for several days. So I asked him, "Did you benefit?" Mason, "I saw dreams and nightmares, as I said." They all centered around the same topic. Quarrels and quarrels with my wife's family. Once with her older brother, and another time with her mother, and the last dream I saw yesterday, in which she fought with her father with fists. It was a disturbing nightmare. What's the meaning of these nightmares? My relationship with them is actually good, and I have never disagreed with them. I have lived through your wife's worries and concerns. Mason, do you mean that she is quarreling with them in reality, and this is what is disturbing her mood during this period? No, not necessarily, but the vision clearly indicates that a reason for her change in mood is because of things that happen because of her family, and it does not have to be a dispute. And she concealed that in her chest and did not tell you. Mason, what happens then? In order to get the details, you must ask her, but what you wanted was achieved, which was to know the source of the anxiety. Right? Yes, thank you. But what, Mason? Everything you have told me so far is speculation, and I have not verified it. You will confirm it after asking your chief. Mason, I did not know that my wife suffers from depression. Do not confuse sadness with depression. Sadness is a distress in the soul that is born large for a reason and goes away by forgetting it, whereas depression is a distress that is born small for no reason and grows without stopping until we suffocate. Your wife suffers from sadness, not depression. This friend of mine took my advice without question or doubt, so I found it comfortable to pass it on and direct it to him. Yeah, but humans are not naturally receptive to the idea of trying new things whose origins they do not know. Reliable sources of information for humans in general are limited to specific categories, the most prominent of which are proven science and heavenly laws, or in other words, religion. It's very difficult for many to accept knowledge that does not emanate from one of these sources, for fear of making a mistake or forbidden. Terms such as a heresy, a superstition, or quackery constitute a major obstacle for many to accept or comprehend any new science, as it falls into the category of the unknown. And we are the enemies of what we do not know, despite the fact that all proven sciences began with the unknown and ended with certainty, passing through experience and research. Tell me trustworthy, I will provide a simple example of how information of which I am almost certain is very difficult to transfer and deliver to the other party directly, and requires putting it in an appropriate form so that he can digest it and accept it comfortably. My cousin, who was my mother from time to time, would tell me about her problems and her frequent quarrels with her husband. She began to catch my attention. Her problems with him begin and reach their peak in their house. As soon as she goes out angrily to her family's house, she suddenly calms down and is surprised by the reasons that prompted her to quarrel with him from the beginning. And he too, as soon as he leaves his house. After her departure, until his feelings calm down and one of them begins to contact the other, he expresses his regret and longing, and the waters return to their normal course, and as soon as they meet under the same roof, they return to quarreling sharply and separate, and so on. The series of my cousin's quarrel with her husband, with its episodes spanning several seasons, has become boring for Mo and my mother, who is saddened by their situation. If I ask a psychologist about the cause of the problem, he will put forward countless theories about methods of understanding, accepting the other, respecting both parties, etc. If he asked the same question to another person, and I will not mention his approach, he would say that it is weak faith, lack of prayer, negligence in duties, etc. All of the previous opinions are beautiful when we hear them and shake our heads to them with complete submission and reverence, but are they useful in all or most cases? I will not answer and will leave the answer to you. Since everyone in our family contributed their opinion to this issue, including the domestic worker who works for my cousin, by saying, "Daddy is not doing well," why should I not contribute with what I am almost certain is the cause of the ongoing dispute under the roof of that house? So, but how?